Alright guys, we are back with Batman v Superman. We should just call it Dawn of Justice because pretty much that's what the whole movie is about.
Yeah.
It's pretty much not about Batman vs Superman. That's just thrown in there for the fans of the
they could
Batman
call it
vs.
like Batman, Superman,
15
Dawn of
minutes.
Justice.
15
Not, like,
minutes.
Versus. If
Yeah.
they just took out the versus part,
It would make sense because they are technically mad at each other throughout the whole movie, but it's not like they're actually fighting each other throughout the whole movie at all. They don't fight. They 15 minutes of the movie is fighting, but the majority of the movie is just like bickering. This kind of political.
It's kind of like more of a Clark Kent versus Bruce Wayne,
or more of a Superman versus society or the world, more than Batman versus Superman, and. The beginning part of it will be non-spoilers for you guys that haven't seen the movie. Just want to hear about it, hear about another couple of douchebags that that read it, that just what would it say? Rag on the movie. If that makes any sense. Majority of the movie, I would say, is boring until it gets to a certain point. It's good to see that there's some parts of the movie that are actually still somewhat entertaining, but the majority of the actual movie is just filler to get to the actual climax of the movie, which is not even a climax. It's 15 minutes of the movie.
I knew going into this movie it was going to be bad anyway, or I wasn't going to like it because I saw the trailer and where they were going with it on the trailer, and I knew I didn't like where they were going to take this movie in the first place, so I didn't have high hopes going into it.
No. But at least the what I thought was going to happen was at least Batman versus Superman were going to fight.
Yeah.
I wish they would fight.
But,
so basically,
in the trailer, you see it that they come together already to fight
Doomsday. So you know,
quotation marks.
Well,
Doomsday.
they don't even call it Doomsday in the movie. So.
Yeah, they do.
Oh no, they say this is going to be your Doomsday. They don't call it Doomsday. Remember that? Which is dumb in itself, but basically, so you get to a part where the beginning of the movie is just basically Batman and Superman not fighting but bickering back and forth, or their actual selves.
So what happens
Bruce Wayne
is you're supposed to, how Ben Affleck is now our new Batman, but he is supposed to be like the continuation of Christian Bale's Batman.
Yes. Somewhat.
Like he has the same aspects as but he also brings a little bit of new stuff to the table as well. Because you notice he's got the same Batmobile as the Christian Bale Batman, and Superman is the same Superman from Man of Steel. Who directed Man of Steel?
Man of Steel. Oh, same guy.
Okay.
I'm thinking. I couldn't.
You could tell.
I blanked out for a second. Man of Steel.
Because I'm saying all the plot holes.
Zack Snyder.
And just awful things that just don't make sense in Man of Steel. You can carry over to this movie.
And we do with a grain of salt because there's a lot of fans out there that did love or do still love Man of Steel. But the problem with Man of Steel is that it's I can't even talk right now. The basics of the movie. I can't talk right now. The basics of the foundation. There you go. The foundation of the movie is flawed, and it carries over to this because Zack Snyder, like we were talking about earlier, like before we got on the air, is that Zack Snyder likes to do. I'm saying a lot of visionary, oh look at this, it looks cool. The movie actually looks fantastic. The cinematography looks amazing.
The CG was pretty good.
CG is good at some parts until you get to the very end part.
But, in the trailer,
additional substance.
You see Doomsday.
Yeah.
You see what they call Doomsday. In the trailer, it tells you how they create Doomsday, which is they use Zod. They don't tell exactly how, but they from Zod you get Doomsday.
Yeah.
And you know that you see Wonder Woman, you see Batman, you see Superman fighting together to destroy Doomsday. So you pretty much got the entire movie in the trailer.
Yeah, exactly.
Batman and Superman fight each other. Somewhere Wonder Woman comes along. Somewhere along Doomsday appears. They all have to get together and fight him.
Fine. Basically, they're gonna hold hands happily and fight the dude at the end, basically, right? And I'm like that portion of it is the worst part of it because structurally it's just like every other Crusade movie. Okay, so there's a conflict, then there's a resolve, and then there's a conflict again.
And then
the majority of movies that do that.
Like if I think a movie is really, really bad, it's mainly due to the plot convenience.
Yes.
Everything just happens to be there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Lois Lane is dating Superman.
Mm-hmm.
For the longest time, she's not supposed to know who Superman is. But in Man of Steel, you already find out that she knows who Superman is. So in this movie, it's still continuing on that, how she knows who Superman is. And her part is useless.
Pretty much. It's because she's Amy Adams and because she's a pretty well talented actress.
Her name, yeah.
She's basically just given this kind of role, this kind of side job of looking up like this gun. It's basically the plot revolves around that: is Superman bad? Is Superman bad, or is he just an alien?
You see that in the trailer too.
Yeah, you see that in the trailer.
A statue of Superman. It says false god.
So basically the trailer. If you want to see the movie, basically
you see the conflict of actual society, like
people fighting.
Who love Superman,
but
people who hate Superman.
Lois Lane herself is trying to find out, which you already know at this point, where there's about the mercenaries that go into the desert. We don't know where. It doesn't really explain where. It's kind of like it's in the Middle East, and they basically killed a bunch of people, right? And Superman was just there, and apparently they blamed that whole situation on Superman for some reason. Don't know why. They just do. So then she's trying to find a way to what this bullet's trying to go to, right? And then that's how the plot goes. That why Superman is so hated on it, right? It's because he's blamed for everything or whatever. And so basically society's...
Well, and then you see in the trailers too how Batman says that he could, if he wanted to, destroy the entire planet.
Yeah.
And that's Batman's, I guess, beef with...
Which then, it's so weird because, like, the worst part about this movie is that it's so inconsistent. There's, like... I won't spoil the main inconsistencies, but the main inconsistencies is that, like, Batman's mad at him, right? And then Batman all of a sudden isn't mad at him.
Yeah.
For like a good majority of the movie. And then it just kind of like his anger goes from like a 10 to like a 7 real fast throughout the 2 hour and a half or the hour and a half stretch that we don't even like see them fight. We don't see them fight for at least an hour. At least 3/4 of the movie we don't see them fight. Yeah. Let's just say that.
There are some good parts to this movie.
Yeah.
I thought Ben Affleck actually played a good part as Batman.
And all of his scenes were great too.
Yes. There's some stuff that it's not his fault though, but
we'll explain that later. But like
that they do with Batman that.
Let's just say majority of his scenes,
like usual Batman.
Yes, but you will say majority of his scenes are
the scene
great,
like you see in the trailer again, that he comes out with his like bat armor on.
Yeah, and just
that was awesome.
It's pretty awesome. The scene where he's I won't say why he's there, but he's in the warehouse scene. That's pretty cool too. There's a
lot of the fighting scenes that Ben Affleck does that seems a lot more realistic and not as staged.
Because Nolan. That's what the problem with the Nolan franchise is that they had terrible fight scenes and they had inconsistencies with like people just getting hit. And nobody hit him and stuff whoever the stunt coordinator for this movie did a 10 times better job than whoever helped on the Nolan series. Let's just say that Batman looked more imposing. Let's just say that more scary, more intimidating in this Batman than he has in probably any Batman ever. I would say.
Yes.
I would say at least that aspect of the movie I love because he's the most scary, he's the most intimidating Batman throughout any movie that we've seen before.
Ben Affleck puts on a lot of weight to look bigger, and you can tell he gives that presence as in he is the Dark Knight.
Yeah, and even his fight skills are even 10 times better than the rest of them.
Surprising.
It's surprising because you wouldn't think Ben Affleck would be a good fighter, looking back at the. But if even the Daredevil fight scenes were actually pretty cool. So
Yeah,
even if the movie was terrible, the actual fight scenes were actually kind of cool. So in that aspect, he was good.
And I forgot her name. Her as Wonder Woman. I don't think she did bad.
Gal Gadot.
She didn't do a terrible job. She wasn't really.
She wasn't really interesting because you didn't really know her character. That was her best flaw with her character, not her.
And I'm hoping when they release the Wonder Woman movie, we'll get more of like that, because she's not really in the movie for a lot, so you don't really get to see like
what her actual character.
But what you do get to see of her is actually pretty good.
Which is actually a flaw in the movie because we didn't really need her in the movie. No offense to actually her, she's good. She's a good actress and she did a really good job on the actual movie. But her being in the movie, it's just kind of another plot we'll talk about in the spoilers because it's just useless to have them in the movie.
But then you see, I don't want to say too much because
there's a lot of. It's really hard to talk about the movie without giving away spoilers.
Yes.
So
because like a lot of it, people like
it ties into the other movies.
Yeah,
is why.
Who ties into the other movie, and if you read the comics, then you'll know stuff about Superman, and then also with Batman, but you can't necessarily see that stuff in this movie.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be like a kind of because Zack Snyder always wants to tell himself that he's a comic book guy, but he had like the problems with doing comic books straight to movies is that there's some parts of the movies that it doesn't work. It's just visionary cool.
I get kind of bending like away from the comic books.
No, he's saying that he's strictly the comic books, and I don't agree. I disagree with what he's saying.
It's because I'm saying like when it came to like Marvel, they bend from the comics a little bit.
Yeah, they do their own storyline,
but they don't make a full like 90-degree turn and just start going off
tour. Well, yeah, because there's like he's trying to follow the comic book, but then he adds his own stuff that just don't make sense.
How does he say he's trying to follow the comic book when there's a lot of parts of this movie that are totally different from the comic books?
I don't know because like the thing is that it's not like the majority of comic books it goes down a narrative structure and it keeps going like you feel like it's trying to go down that way like everything that looks like it goes down that route and then all of a sudden Zack Snyder tries to throw his kind of look at this this looks cool for the trailer instead of actually putting any like thought into it and he makes it look like look at this it looks like the comic book right yes it looks like the comic book like when you look at it, it feels like the comic book, but it's not. And I haven't read the actual like comic book of this, but I guarantee I
haven't either, but I've read like what they're about online and like what they're supposed to be about online. Because I mean, comic books, it's like it could be like 10 comic books for like one battle between Superman and villain.
Yeah.
But I read online like summary of all those, what it's supposed to be, background information on characters.
What they're trying to go to?
Yeah. Or like just background information on characters in general, like where they came from, how they got their powers, stuff like that.
But this one, let's just end this discussion of this right now because I want to get into spoilers.
Yes.
So let's just I'll say my overall feeling of the movie is that you're going to see it no matter what. If you're a huge comic book fan, you want to see it. But for those casual fans, please stay home. Don't watch the movie. Listen to our spoiler warning because it's not a good movie.
Especially if you're any fan of like the DC comics at all. Because
I would not recommend.
Most people who are a fan of the DC comics are their superheroes that they're reading is Batman or Superman.
Yes.
Those are the two big ones.
And the thing is that it's going to ruin the characters for you because we'll talk about that later about the actual characters, how they don't even make sense.
Yeah, my only thing is like I hope, because I know Zack Snyder's not doing the spin-off movies of like we have The Flash, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and apparently another Green Lantern, but that hasn't been announced yet.
Yes, yeah.
He's not doing those movies.
And of course, he's not doing the movies until he gets that Justice League movie out of the way because he wants it as a crash grab.
Is like you're making the spin-off movies after the Justice League.
Yeah.
So you're going to introduce everyone to these characters and their powers, but not give them backstories on any of them.
Well, just look at the movie, how they did it in the movie. So
My thing is this though: if you put their backstories in the Justice League, then that's what 45 minutes of backstories.
So that's easily a 3.5-hour movie. If you want to put their backstories in while giving them enough screen time, it's going to be a 2.5-hour movie. Though they're doing part 1 and part 2.
Look what they did with the Avengers. You had a Hulk movie.
Yeah,
before.
You had
Iron Man. You had Thor.
And a Captain America.
That's
all you needed.
And then you had the smaller characters like Hawkeye and Black Widow in someone else's movie.
Yes.
Because, no offense, they're small characters.
They're small characters, not really important characters.
But you had every individual movie up until that movie. So everyone knew going into Avengers where they got their powers from, who exactly these people are, and then Avengers just gave the whole instance on how they came together.
Yes.
So if you're doing it in the way that DC is doing this with the Superman, you're going to have... Okay, you saw Batman and Superman. They previously had movies.
Which I understand, because, like, that's what I didn't like about this movie, is that they try to explain Batman's story, which they try to explain Batman's story that we already knew.
Yeah.
He didn't try to explain why he was doing certain things.
If you only include
he didn't explain the
movies,
It didn't explain the more important parts.
Yeah,
of the
say you never saw the previous Batman movies, just the 3 Christian Bale ones.
Yeah.
You still know Batman's story.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
And if you don't know Batman's story, you're not going to go see the movie in the first place.
And you obviously the Man of Steel, so you know Superman's story. So putting him in this movie, that's fine. Wonder Woman, they kind of throw in here, and I mean they're making a movie on Wonder Woman, so that's when you'll get her backstory. But so when you bring up this Justice League, it's going to be. I mean, I don't know.
Let's just say, first of all, we don't know. The only character we actually know for sure, like, we know his backstory, we know his motivations, we know everything about him, is Superman.
And Batman.
No, not even Batman. We don't even know his... Well, we'll talk about this. You know what I'm saying?
But, I mean,
you don't know
him.
You know him.
You know he's a rich guy who doesn't really actually have any superpowers.
But you don't know you don't know this Batman's motivations.
No, but you at least know who he is, why he's doing what he's doing.
Yes. You know that, but you know that from the comics.
Yeah,
you could have thrown him into the Justice League.
That's what I'm saying. If you're someone that does not read the comics, you don't know who Wonder Woman is.
Nope.
You don't know who Green Lantern is.
Nope.
You don't know who the Flash is.
Nope.
I mean, you might be heard stuff that he runs fast, but like, hey,
I mean, maybe you saw the Ryan Reynolds one, but that doesn't even give you the
Lantern.
Yeah, that doesn't give you enough.
Okay, yes, the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern, you might be able to figure out where he got his powers from, but that still leaves you the Flash, Aquaman, Cyborg,
Martian
Manhunter. But I'm saying, people have heard of the Flash. There's a TV show out right now.
Yes,
you might have seen that. There's nothing on Martian Manhunter. There's nothing on Aquaman.
Yeah.
There's nothing on Cyborg. I'm pretty sure most people don't even know that Cyborg was even a character part of the Justice League.
Yeah. Yes.
And then
Hawkman.
Hawkgirl.
Hawkgirl. I mean.
I don't know if they're gonna include her in the Justice League.
Which I heard they are, but they aren't. I don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. There's 4 characters right there that you might not have any idea who they are. And
they don't really
try to
explain it, and they don't really explain Wonder Woman. You don't even know. No. I mean, you'll see a Wonder Woman movie before the actual Justice League comes out, but it's only her origin story.
She's the only one that you'll actually see the movie before Justice League comes out.
Yeah.
But you're going to be introduced to Aquaman, Cyborg, the Flash, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, and the Hawk. But
even Flash, right? Even the TV show. You still don't know this Flash.
Yeah,
this was the difference.
This is a different Flash. This Flash is not. Has
so what would you? Let's get to the.
That's what I'm saying. But you're gonna try to look at my whole thing is like DC is going to try to introduce 6 characters to the audience
before they know them.
The audience does not know about.
Pretty much.
And then be like, hey guys, don't worry.
Like, imagine if they did it to the Avengers.
Between 2017 and 2020.
22.
Don't worry.
No, 2021, because Green Lantern movie comes out in
2021. Don't worry. We'll give you your backstories by that time.
After the part 1 and part 2 come out.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. So what would you give, at least for right now, what would you give this movie?
A 5.
5 out of 10?
Yeah.
That's pretty high.
Just because you can get some enjoyment out of it.
That's
because
true.
There are.
If you want to turn your brain off and just kind of watch
some action and stuff in it. Some of the CGI is pretty cool. Some of the actors within the movie do a pretty good job.
To me, that's even dumb fun, which is like, it's to me, dumb fun is dumb fun. But when you have so much stupidity in the movie, I can't get past that part. So I want to give it as high as you. I mean, not as low as like Man of Steel, which I gave a 3 out of 10, but not as high as you. I would give it right in the middle, 4 out of 10.
4.
When we come back, we'll talk about the actual spoilers and get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, we're gonna compare this movie to like the comics and how the characters should be, and why their direction for this movie was not
the best.
This is a Silly Boy show, so stay tuned.